Hello. All right. I'm messing this up on my computer. Hello. One more time.
Hello? Hello?
Hello. All right. We're okay with this volume.
Alright, let's do it.
This might be the pregame show. All right. So this is Xaviar.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
We've been friends for how long? Would you say?
About 4 years?
4 years. They say after 7 years, you're friends forever. So we first met each other at
Lowe's.
Lowe's. You were in Lawn and Garden. I was a simple cashier back then, back in the day.
Yeah?
And the first question they asked you was,
What is my zodiac sign?
yeah, and you're an Aries.
I am an Aries. That was the first question you ever asked me.
I didn't know how to start a conversation, and then I found out you were Jewish, and I was like, do you know Hebrew? I remember that part.
I do not know Hebrew.
No.
I lost my train of thought. But yeah, because we didn't talk for a while there after that.
No, that's right. We didn't. We really connected when Hannah was joining the group.
Yeah, I thought you were really weird. So I kind of just avoided you as much as I could. Because who just asked someone, hey, what's your zodiac sign, by the way?
I don't know social. I know if I say hi, you're gonna be like hi, and then just walk away, and never talk to me again. So I need to like entice you to like have some of a conversation, little connection. And I told you I was a tourist, and then I forgot what we talked after that.
We didn't until we went out drinking.
Well, we did with Hannah, with
Just me, you, and Hannah.
yeah, at Bandits, and we just literally made you drink.
And I drank
Yeah, that was. I feel bad on that part, but it was kind of worth it though because we got you drunk at Applebee's also
a couple times.
a couple times. We used to tip this waiter $20 because
$20 to $40.
yeah, just because we're there.
Because between all of us.
Yeah,
Except when I had to pay for the whole meal.
yeah. Then
Because I made the most out of the group.
you were our Frank from Always Sunny. You were we got Red Lobster. Oh, those were the days. We were making good money back then. We went to Red Lobster. That means commitment. We learned.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Now we gotta go to our word. We kind of got a little
Yeah.
sidetracked there. The word is work.
Work.
Work. Work. Work. Work.
Working all day long.
And did you like Lowe's?
Lowe's is probably one of my favorite jobs I've ever had.
Was that your first job? Well,
Yeah.
well, what's your like job history? I'll tell you. Mine's a bucket list.
Alright. So my first job. So when I was 14, I worked at the Ely'sburg Gun Club. I was one of the trap boys. So I would clean the traps and like fill the shots, like the shot puts, launchers.
That
Shoot
seems
the shit
not a 14-year-old job. I didn't know you could get a job at
They were
14.
partnered with the school. They allowed it.
That
We had to
phase,
get the little permit from school that says we could work.
I remember that when I was 15, not 14. That seems pretty dangerous for. Okay.
Yeah, it was nothing.
That's a fun job, though, it seems like.
You were sitting in a concrete box in the middle of blazing summer heat.
Any
So
air,
much fun.
any air conditioning?
No,
You didn't get tan, I could tell. You never got tan, did you?
I was in a box.
And
No, I didn't get tan.
I guess heat does not correlate with
Heat
tan.
does not correlate with tan.
My bad. My bad, friend.
And then I was there for 2 summers. And then I worked as a dishwasher and pizza boy at an Italian restaurant.
Short guy making pizza.
Ironic.
Kind of is Mario.
And then I ended up quitting that job because I was I was gonna go on a date, and they got mad at me because there was only one person working as a dishwasher, even though I had worked as a dishwasher by myself that whole time, every day. I was still in school at this point, so I don't give a fuck.
That's facts, though. That's a little unfairness right there. You're always a good worker.
And I didn't have a job for a while because being in school, and that was when I was in welding in the technical school. So I was spending all my time there doing that. After that, right after high school, I started working at Great Dane in Ely'sburg. I worked as a welder there for about 9 months till I had an accident, got injured.
Sorry to hear that.
Then I was Then I tried going to college. Didn't work out for me. I didn't really like school, so I ended up dropping out of that.
What did you go to college for?
I went to college for business administration and accounting.
That's a whole 180.
It was terrible. Business business degree was not my forte, to say the very least.
Yeah, 'cause you're a worker. You're a follower, not the leader.
I mean, I'd rather be working than sitting in an office.
That's
I'd rather be
valid.
like working with my hands. Sitting in an office by any means, but me personally, I'd rather be working with my hands in some way or like working with people.
That is kind of where I'm at with my current job because it's short shifts, but like literally for 3 hours, you just have nothing to do, and that's like the closest to an office job I had. I don't care for it. I don't. So I can relate to you not liking office jobs.
After I got done the whole college thing, I worked at Walmart for a little while. I worked in the apparel section.
You do have fashion though.
That is where my love of like customer service started coming in. I love customer service. It's fun. I really enjoy retail. I enjoy getting to see a bunch of new people every day, all my regulars every day. Sometimes
Yeah, you got some fair share of irate people, you would
I
say.
dealt with some irate people. Um, After Walmart, I worked at Geldwin Windows and Doors. That was a great job, but ended up moving away and then driving an hour and a half down, an hour and a half back every day. It's not my forte. Didn't want to do that.
I mean, was the pay at least good, or was it just like not
Oh,
even
the pay
worth
was
it?
great.
Oh,
Pay was great, but like with me not driving and stuff,
all right, that's valid.
well, the first person driving me every day. That was 6 hours in the car.
I would hate you.
Yeah.
I would not. I'd be like, all right, one time only.
Then after that, I worked at Mickey Truck Bodies for a little while.
What do you do there?
I just did the wiring of the trucks.
Oh, so you could do my car.
No.
Okay, that works.
Chassis. I was there for about a week and then I got fired.
You got how do you why?
Uh, Me and the welding manager didn't get along.
Did you crash out?
No, actually. Well, like my second day there, I was supposed to look at a finished product and see if I see anything I was wrong with it. And I noticed quite a few welds that were just messed up. And I pointed them out. They were the welding manager's welds.
So you were doing your job.
I was doing my job and I got fired.
That's all.
The pay was also just not worth it.
I was like,
I think they were gonna pay like 17 an hour.
you could have sued him.
Nah, it wasn't worth it. And after that was Lowe's.
And you were there for how long?
I was there for a year and a half, almost 2 years. I started out as a lawn and garden associate. Then I went to be a flooring specialist. That was not a jump I should have done. Doing sales is terrible.
You seem like you enjoyed it once in a while.
I enjoyed when I could get the big ticket sales, but having to meet the quota was quite a hassle.
Didn't one of the higher ups challenge you to get $300 worth of something, the ginger, and you
Oh,
failed miserably?
no. I was challenged to get over 120 grand sales. I got 97 grand. So I didn't fail miserably.
You just got close.
I didn't succeed, but I got close.
That's actually impressive.
And then now it is at Turkey Hill.
My job history started with there's a gas station near me. I think it's a Snowco, but we have a special name for it, the locals, that I'm not going to say. For tool, I forget how old I was. I used to go up there and talk to my other friend Sarah for hours on end after school. We used to go home, go right up there, talk until they close. I helped close. It was after school, and we used to my one of the closest people I ever got to. And then one day she texted me saying like, "Hey, his name is Patel." So I went there, and he was like, "Do you want to stock the cooler like 3 times a week, twice a week, for like $20 each time?" Because that's like an hour, half hour. It was not bad thinking about it, and I agreed. So I did that for a bit. I want to say about like half a year, like 6 months. Then I got a job at Turkey Hill, of course. Stayed there for 3 years. Then I went to Sheets, stayed there for 6 months because the college was hiring. So I was a custodian for I over a year because I took off for summer breaks and school wasn't open. COVID hit. There we go. COVID hit. Then my mother also had a heart attack during that time, and the school was like in 1 day or like 2 days, even like quick. 200 some students had COVID. So I had like a small panic attack at work because we were deciding if we wanted to take out or have the commons open, which we are the longest, the biggest cafeteria on campus. And we just decided to keep open. And I'm like, no, I can't. Then I went to Walmart for a third shift stocking. Stayed there for like a year. Then I went back to Turkey Hill because my name got brought up as something that was not even relevant. And I had to move out because I lived in Bloomsburg at this time. So I kind of just like, and my lease was ending like that month. So I was in the process of deciding to renew it or not. So I decided not to renew it, and I pointed out on purpose. I'm a baller. Then I went back to Turkey Hill, and then yeah, the old T8, my freaking Sweden. Actually, it's my Alaska. If you need a job ASAP, you're in. Well, now I'm blacklisted, but
Not fully. They didn't tell you you were.
you're right. Someone keep applying to get in. And now my current job is working for U-Haul, which isn't too bad. Well, that's my job history. I'm sure I skipped one job.
Lowe's.
Oh, Lowe's. I worked Lowe's after Walmart. Wait, no. Oh, then Turkey Hill again for another like two years, and then I went to Lowe's for a year. I was head cashier, and then I went back to Turkey Hill. So altogether, I was at Turkey Hill for 7 years, 6 years. So out of your job, what do you hate about corporate or your jobs? Like, do they have a common hatred, or is each job different and why you don't like
Main thing I hate about corporations and working for them is when we are forced to push credit cards or rewards things on customers. And even if the customer already has it, we are still told to talk about it more.
it? That was my issue. Your issue, you were on the floor. What do you mean?
Yeah, I was supposed to, like, at Lowe's specifically, I was supposed to go up to pretty much every customer and talk about the credit card for like a minute or two with them.
So, because you did your job, we have to make up for it and do the same thing
So you're saying it was my fault specifically
in your department, yes.
in my department. Okay.
But mostly you, because you were the most active.
And I also hated about how I was one to get called to do everything for everyone in the store because everyone else was a useless piece of shit. Especially that Zachary Bilger fucker.
Well, you also have to realize that you were morning shift. I need somebody to do self checkout.
Gotta
I
cut this whole bit out.
no, we keep in, and I rotated everybody. It just happened to be you more often,
Me more often, you mean me pretty much every day, you ask me?
and like 3 other people. Yeah,
I also hate how understaffed retail is. But that's not because of corporations most times. A lot of it is because of customers being irate and just being very difficult to work with. Treating customer service workers like they're basically trash. And get a real job, but then they complain when there's no one to help them get stuff in stores.
It's like a catch-22, really. Check yourself. Right, -5 minutes. Okay, we're at.
Well, I was saying about how customers are the real problem when it comes to retail. Like corporates make it very difficult because they expect outstanding achievements. Because some stores can achieve them, bigger stores in like major cities like New York, Philadelphia, Chicago. Whereas a small town like Bloomsburg, you cannot achieve the same sort of results.
Oh, you'll get shot.
That's why you don't go to Chicago.
Very.
For the South Side. um, but yeah, I think corporations also have too much power in modern America.
That's a fact, but would you rather be publicly owned or remote?
I'm not saying that corporations shouldn't be a thing. I'm just saying they shouldn't have nearly as much power to influence decisions by giving money to people.
I agree with that because I feel like management is another big reason why people get shut off, or because it comes down from corporate and then to the managers, and
Shit rolls downstream.
yep, and if they don't do what they're asked, they get yelled at, and then the aggression and micromanagement triples down.
A lot of it is there's no proper training going on for a lot of the jobs I've worked at for management or even regular workers. Because half the time they just get chucked to someone who might not know how to train properly or doesn't know what they're doing themselves.
That especially was if a manager doesn't do it and there's an experienced worker at the place, they do it a different way.
Everyone does everything a different way, yeah.
If it's the wrong way, you can get trouble for it. I saw that happen a couple of times, and it's not fair because it's the manager's responsibility to train most people.
Yeah.
All people.
Granted, there are also, of course, there's going to be different ways to do stuff, but sometimes people do stuff completely unsafe. And then they'll train other people, and those people train other people. They have this giant unsafe work environment where it's just a catch-22 because no one is safe at that point, not the managers or the workers. Because the managers should have been training better, but the workers don't know any better.
Exactly. And I also realized that there is a knowledge gap over the years because corporates do not print out or give the new information how to properly do it with new machines or whatnot. So they have to wing them themselves or have like a nice unorganized outline of how to do it. And that has a lap between old knowledge and new knowledge that's not properly fully connected.
And I also feel like in certain jobs, like at Lowe's, when I was a power equipment trainer, I would often tell people if you do not feel comfortable doing something at that point, do not do it.
That's how I was with I don't know what they're called. With big platforms.
Yeah. I can't think of what it's called.
You know, up on a push on like a washer. I would never do that. I didn't trust myself.
But the main problem is that they would then get forced to do this stuff. They're not feeling comfortable to do it. They're not in their right minds, and accidents happen. When the accident could have been avoided by giving them more time to train instead of expecting them to be trained in an hour.
You seen the video of? I actually think it was the Lowe's.
It was. Yeah, he was on the, I forget what the power equipment is called, but he was up on it, and the box was pressing down, and he couldn't get down properly because he wasn't using the right equipment for that job. The thing he was using was way too small to fit that box, so he was crushing himself against the platform.
I'm surprised that never happened at our store at the time.
Luckily for us at our store, at least during the days, there was enough trained power equipment operators that were either properly trained by older workers who used to work there, or they picked up stuff from me. that they knew to use the right equipment.
I don't think I do have to give those credit. I believe their training was specialist requirement. One, they're all about safety.
Yeah.
I think they chose a nice handful to train properly and make it a somewhat enjoyable experience for the trainee.
I feel like sometimes there wasn't enough time to train
Oh, for sure.
because constantly getting called to work on other stuff when I'm trying to train, it isn't helpful. Like when I had to train a girl in lawn and garden, but I also had to run the whole lumber department by myself, completely across the store.
And that comes down to understaffing.
Mm-hmm. Because either they're not getting paid enough, they don't want to deal with poor management, poor job.
A lot of times it was management for me because there's I want to see U-Haul.
Mhm.
They give their managers more freedom and more slack. Since day one, I feel like that's a more healthier relationship between the trio of corporate manager and the underlings.
Mhm.
We need to see more of that. Like, you could be strict, but like also push stuff under the rug per se once in a blue moon, or like minor stuff until it becomes a habit.
I think with that, it's sort of catch 22 because sure you can push some of the minor stuff, but then people are gonna try to get away with doing that stuff more and more and more. And then once it becomes a habit, then you have to try to break said habit, which isn't easy.
Especially if you're stubborn and you're older.
Yep.
That's a lot of things I noticed. Older people.
A lot of older workers, they've been doing stuff 15, 20 years because they used to be okay. And then new rules get put in place, and then they're the first ones to complain about it.
And sometimes if they have seniority, it does kind of go their way.
Sometimes, yeah. Or unfortunately, they pass away, yeah. That's another thing. I think jobs should be forced to give you a 2 week notice before they fire you. If I have to give a 2 weeks notice before I quit, they should give me a 2 weeks notice.
Amen to that, though.
So that way I can look for another job so I'm not potentially going homeless or whatever.
That will help with the irate people, too, because you can either quit right there or tough it out.
Yeah.
And not wait till the end of the day. I don't even wait till the end of the day to fire you after you've done your job.
I don't agree with that.
I really don't agree that they fire you.
No, I don't agree that they should do that. Like, they should not be allowed to do that. If they're going to fire you, it should be at the beginning of your shift.
That's fully how it should be.
Because granted, you are getting another day of pay, but at the same time, you're doing your full job, expecting, oh, I'll just come in tomorrow.
Or at least give them an option. Okay, we're going to fire you today. You can stay. We have no issue with it. Or go home and we'll understand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like they need to do that. They need to do that more often. Why do you think managers suck?
Oh, that's a loaded question.
Or like the policies, if you want to touch on that specifically.
I don't necessarily think managers suck per se. I do agree some people should not be managers. Well, no, not you, but some people have not received proper enough training. They don't know how to effectively lead a team. And if their workers do not respect them to the point where they'll barely listen to them, they should not be managers.
I also feel like they should consider relationships between assisting managers or whatnot. Because if they collide too much, then it's all going to fall apart. I feel like they should assess the situation and be like, all right, they don't get along whatsoever. They can't work around that so it doesn't affect the underlings.
Agreed. I think if there's a supervisor or managers who are working together on a shift and they do not get along, they need to be kept on opposite shifts.
Especially if they can't compromise.
If they cannot compromise and just try to steamroll the other person.
Yeah, I had another manager that didn't hear me out and undermined me with everything. And then they got flustered, and I'm like, I could have done this. I knew how to do it. I don't understand why you went to somebody else. I don't understand why you got so frustrated without asking for help. I feel like asking for help is a big thing, no matter where you work, no matter position. I feel like if you don't know, ask questions. and ask your person that you're working with, another manager.
Yeah. A lot of it, I think, is just there's too much ego. Because some people think that they are just way too prideful, thinking that they are the best. And everyone has more to learn.
I see it a lot more in younger people than older people, which that surprised me a lot.
That also depends on the job. Because I've had some older managers who think that they are basically the greatest thing ever for the company.
People after 50.
People after 50.
There we go.
That's another thing. Old people should not be allowed to drive.
That's a whole other topic.
That'll be on the next episode of censoring.
You know what actually works though?
We're censoring those old people from driving.
There's a whole episode about driving, asshole.
I can't help you with that. I don't drive you.
That's fine if you be the passion princess.
I hope that picked it up.
I did.
Oh, hell yeah.
I saw this bike. Alright, policies and work environment. Is there what is the most stupid policy you came across so far?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Would you like me to go first?
No, I'll go for a recent one. That on every single shift, some stuff needs to be done. Right? Like every single shift. The cooler needs to be done. But how are we supposed to do that when we are understaffed?
And then you get
And then I get in trouble. I get texted by the store manager saying, hey, why wasn't this done? Well, why wasn't there enough people? And why was it empty from first shift? When you put two...
They blame every other shift. It does bleed, but like...
It absolutely bleeds through between every shift. And I think that's one thing that needs to be implemented in policy, at least Turkey Hill, where I work, is that there needs to be more cooperation between the shifts. Like there should be some people that are working first and second, like the split, or split second and third.
That's right, because communication is key no matter where you work. And if someone doesn't tell you or tell the manager or whoever is like the lead,
Yeah.
that like what's going on, what didn't get done, and like details, of course. If that's not communicated, then when it pops up or when someone notices it, they're gone, and then it's like, what do we do? Do we have
absolutely.
Is this backstock or
other stupid policies? I think they should bring back smoking in restaurants. I'm gonna say it. Like it worked for so long. I don't give a fuck. The policies that I've dealt with have been for very specific reasons. A major one that has affected me in personal ways because I had to deal with HR about it was a manager dating a direct underling. I personally didn't date my manager, but I was best friends with the person who was dating their manager.
So what about the policy? Do you agree with the policy that you can't date underlings?
I absolutely agree with it. I think that at that point there was too much power held over, but at the same time I feel like if they were, let's say they started dating before and then they both got the job. One got promoted, they shouldn't have to break up whatsoever. But if they keep their relationship completely confidential outside of work, again, there is no work benefit to it, I don't think it should be unallowed. But as soon as they start getting some sort of special perks or privileges, that's when it is time to, like, make it an issue.
Does that work? Do you think that affects the environment, like the work environment?
I think it absolutely can affect the work environment because, just for an example, a person might not get in trouble by their partner, like if they're dating their direct manager, but another person doing the same thing will get in trouble. So it can affect the work environment and make it a very toxic workplace.
What is the most hostile or just not a good work environment have you experienced that you can go into that is involved stabbing or doing crack in the bathroom?
Probably the most hostile work environment would probably be Turkey Hill because of all the drama surrounding different people going around.
So it's like a small town effect.
It's a small town effect, yeah. It basically felt like I was back in high school with all the drama going around. and you didn't know what side was right because everyone had a different story.
Didn't it feel kind of like, oh, memory lane, like feels good?
No, it was terrible.
I was a master of that in high school.
Like, in high school, I mostly stayed to myself because I wanted to.
You were a cheerleader.
Okay. I I was a cheerleader. I also did sports, but I mostly stayed to myself and just went home to play video games.
Chicken jockey.
Flint and steel, chicken jockey.
How do you know that?
Of course I know. I watched the Minecraft movie.
I didn't. I think that we should memorize watching movies. And honestly, like kind of how school was. Like you get like one free day.
One thing we should normalize in America is a siesta. We should be allowed to take a break in the middle of the day to go home, relax, eat.
So kind of like our kindergarten of like nap time.
Yes, that should be a thing. Because sure, you'd be working a little bit later in the day, but you're still having time to see your kids, see your partner, your animals, whatever. Have that time at home before having to go back to work. Instead of being dead tired throughout work, then not having time to do it.
When I worked at college, the manager kind of gave the option of like, hey, would you be interested in working till X and then have like a 3 hour gap and then come back? I think that comes down to management has more freedom. Well, backtrack because I don't see that. That was the first time I seen that they gave you an option like, go home. You could come back in like 3 hours and do X to X.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that should be more of an option according to the situation that's on here.
I believe so, absolutely.
The most toxic environment I did was Turkey Hill back in the day when one of the QSR managers was on her power trip, ego. She wanted to control the entire store. You mess up once, you give back talk. Your hours will be cut dramatically. Like, it's because of that one decision.
Mm-hmm.
That's too much freedom. That should be illegal.
I don't think anyone should be allowed to do anything like that except for corporate. Because that should be taken an issue to HR or a higher manager who's outside of the store.
And a lot of people don't go to report on the work environment to corporate whatsoever, unless it gets like to the point where everyone's going to quit. Like we should go to HR more often, especially when it comes to like.
A lot of times people are worried about the retaliation. Even though retaliation in corporations is illegal, according to like company bylaws and stuff. But people are still scared to go to HR because I feel like, oh, well, this isn't that big of an issue. It's just affecting me.
And a lot of times it affects everybody.
It affects everyone, but no one talks about it. Like another thing, everyone should be allowed to talk about how much they're making at work. And there is no law stating that they can't.
And they make it a law or a policy, which
They try to make it a policy, which I'm pretty sure is illegal.
yeah, it is. Everyone keeps saying that.
Because you're completely allowed to talk about it.
And the fact that I think it's because a lot of I guess corporate citing page gaps.
No, absolutely.
Not
like there is
girls and females, but like as a whole, because there's many instances where, let's say, whether for like 5 years, and I'm making like $13 after 5 years.
someone comes in with no work experience, starts at 15.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like that. I think that's one reason why they like you can't talk about it.
I think as long as you have the same job, people with more experience should be getting paid more than newer people coming in for that exact same position.
That's so fair.
But like at Lowe's, the cashiers and people on the floor were making different wages because the jobs were so different.
Which that makes sense. I feel like if it's dramatically different,
Mm-hmm.
that's okay. If it's like the same job, same, and it's go based on work experience.
Absolutely. Like there should be a flat rate for what you start out as. And if they're going to raise the starting wage, they need to raise everyone else's wage in accordance.
And they never do that.
They almost never do that.
Sorry, I remember I wrote on the paper that I sent to you, but I didn't write down here because it was paper. The question is, if you had the opportunity to make a business,
Mm-hmm.
if you could say what it would be and why, but the question is more towards about the policies that you would add to it and how you would run it. As like a free owner, they have all the freedom.
Okay. That's actually a really good question. And I've thought about this before. I wouldn't want to own a bookstore and a cafe.
I'll do a cafe. I'll own the cafe.
Like I would want to own a bookstore and cafe, but also have stuff to do with video games.
So like internet cafe slash library.
More or less.
That's very smart.
And specific policies is like I wouldn't want anyone to feel like if a guy doesn't know what he's doing in that place, like he doesn't know anything about technology, I wouldn't just not hire. I would see
15
how
plus.
I would see how he worked in like the book section or in the cafe. I think that a major thing is people aren't playing to other people's strengths in the workforce. So like, I'm not saying you have to bend over backwards to get people jobs, but at least try and see if they can fit in somewhere. And if they can't, then it's a different story.
So kind of like the app Fallout Shelter and how
Yeah.
+1 or +5 on different water filtration.
Oh, absolutely. Like different specialties and different skills. Because everyone's different.
Yeah, we don't do that.
No?
No one does. I do know it's like some people that have like not managers, but like coworkers, or like does play or try to guide you to your strong suit, but managers do get in the way of that sometimes.
Agreed. Well, because managers, they just have to be focused on the end product a lot of the time. They can't be focused on the progress because they're under scrutiny from their higher ups.
I feel like it should not be as scrutiny. I feel like you need to go through the process to get the greater output of the product.
Like, let's just say in welding, I was working on the crash plates for the trailers, for like Walmart trailers. But I was also trained on pretty much everything. But I was best on crash plates because I could do them pretty much by myself. Whereas other people were better with undercarriage welding and just different types of welding. So like that's one of the good experiences I had is they put us where they thought we were best.
So in your cafe bookstore, let's call it Xavierville.
Okay, Xavierville. Love it.
Thank you. I made it up on the spot. So you would make sure that people don't feel left out and try them in different spots before you go bye-bye and put them back to the shed.
Well, I'm not going to take them out to the back of the shed and shoot them in the back of the head. I'm not going to old yell or anyone.
It's a plus. That's a good policy.
Oh, no, I would want to try to work with the person, anyone I'm hiring, see if I can fit them in any different roles there, even if it's just stocking.
What would be your specialty? Like tie-dye Monday. Would you have anything of that? Like crazy sock day?
Oh, you're talking about like different,
I won't say holidays, but like
different spirit days, sort of like school.
Yes, perfect analogy.
I would say that I wouldn't have a dress code, of course, because I want people to be able to express their individuality working for me.
Would you allow dye?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there any other policies that you would? Is there any other policies that you would add to it, or how would you run it? Would you make sure, like, between your profits, would you give everyone like a fair wage, like 20% of your overall profit?
Well, I would, of course, pay them like regularly, but I would try to also do like bonuses throughout the year, so that way everyone gets a little extra something.
What would be the like product outage? Like, how would you do the bonuses?
I guess it would pretty much just be I wouldn't specifically go based on productivity, more so just
Like,
how efficient they work.
that should make sense.
Because like I wouldn't want people to feel like they are like of course I want stuff being sold. But if customers aren't happy with the efficiency of the store, we're not gonna get as much business compared to how much we sell. Bringing customers in and customers seeing a happy worker, like a happy environment, is gonna want them to come back.
There's a lot of places where I notice the workers are just like miserable.
Miserable, and it's like you don't really want to go back there.
So you would make it very vibrant, like welcoming.
I would want to be very welcoming for customers and for the workers.
You know what we need to normalize? When they celebrate an accomplishment and they are like pizza party. We need to. I feel like Lowe's did it right because they actually like cater.
Yeah, Lowe's did cater, and then we also had all those different cook-off things throughout a year.
Oh, I forgot about the cook-offs. They did that right because all the places were like pizza party, or you get like one donut or whatever.
I got so much food because a lot of people just ended up not wanting it.
Yeah.
Especially for fucking Panera.
Oh, Panera.
I got so many sandwiches that day.
It's good. Sort of fat gets fatter, you know?
Or like during the summer when they would do like the hot dogs and burgers.
Oh, yeah, you go in the back.
Mm-hmm.
We need to bring that back because like that does bring up the morale, and that really does.
I think a lot of it is worker morale dictates how well a store will do.
It really is. That's really how it goes. Should have enough for probably for like a 30-minute. So it's up to you. We can stop whenever we get to you.
I'm good. I'm good to stop.
You were really into it though.
My throat's starting to hurt a bit.
All right. We gotta say goodbye.
Oh.
Hey, wait, hold on. Pause. So now you can edit.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Clickbait. You're not fucking soundboard. Well, my guest is busy. He has a appointment with Lil Wayne. So we're gonna cut it here. So welcome to the word rant of the day. Is work. Any closing thoughts or anything you want to tell people?
Work, work, work. That's all I do. Work, work, work.
All right. Well,
Bye-bye.